back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Shootout countdown, Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PSGL. It is season 39 and we are at the final round of season 39. And it's not only the final round for this season, it's the final round for F1 24. It's been one hell of a ride on this game cycle and we only have a few months to wait until the next one. But in the meantime, we will finish up here today. Of course, I am Alex, also known as Deathlink10. Unfortunately, TK is unavailable today, but we have drafted in the next best thing, and we are joined once again by Corey. Corey, how are you doing today?
Very good, thank you, Alex. I'm excited to get going here for the finale. Of course, Abu Dhabi, always a good track to bring some spicy overtaking. That DRS tactics, you've got a detection zone, then you get the DRS aided straight. But before you get there, you need to be careful into that chicane. Do you overtake or do you wait? Because as soon as you get out of it, DRS, once again, it's a detection zone. So it's right there out of that exit of turn 7. So you've got to be cautious, you've got to play it smart. Where are you going to choose to overtake? You're going to choose to sit behind or push on through. But of course, with it being the mighty Abu Dhabi, we'll have a look at that track on your screen right about now. 5.281 kilometers long with those 2 DRS zones and 2 detection points. So you can see how close it is on the exit of turn 7. Opens the door for some spicy strategies as they attack through turn 8 and get that DRS. But of course, 16 turns, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. So a little bit balanced, but that left side can be a little bit treacherous with how fast you come through some of those left-handers. Some of the right-handers, should I say, as well. But of course, you've got to think turn 9. Or as soon as you come out of that DRS aided zone, you fire it round to that left side, and the right side can take an absolute beating. Some punishment, to say the least. But I'm excited to see what's to come. It is the finale, and what a way to say goodbye to F1 24. And now we wait for 25 to come.
Yeah, we certainly do. We had some more revealed today about F1 25 with the reveal of Breaking Point 2. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the game handles and very much looking forward to seeing how it just all goes down come next season. Of course, we don't know where we're all going to be in terms of tiers for next season with season 40, which is also a big landmark for PSGL. 40 seasons of the F1 games. If I am a bit quieter for a second, I am working on fixing that. It's something with my microphone. It's not anything that Corey's done wrong. So I'll let Corey carry on talking while I fix my microphone. So give me 2 seconds, everyone.
Oh, a couple of technical issues there. I've just adjusted your audio a little bit slightly more, so I'll give you a bit more volume. So if people are struggling to hear you, they should be able to hear you a little bit better now. But again, I would say it's been an interesting season, and it comes down to the championship here today on the final round with this shorter sort of sprint of a calendar that you've seen, this little season 39, a bit shorter than what you're used to, just 9 rounds to see us through to the end of the game cycle. And of course, it's been a bit up and down with F1 24. It's been a bit unknown, a bit some tracks, some scenes of controversy. Barcelona comes to mind, Catalonia circuit, coming out of the penultimate corner, you can get projectile up in the air by an invisible bump, but let's not get into too much detail about that as well. Silverstone over to the the left-hand side of the line, very bumpy, not something you get used to. Sometimes can cause a bit of issues in your Grand Prix. So drivers have adapted their racing style and adapted the racing lines this game cycle around to mitigate some of those little issues that have been seen, that have been worked on and tried to be fixed throughout it's life that we've had over the past 12 months.
Yeah, it certainly has. And it's just been so interesting with this year's game. I think some people will be happy it's gone. Some people may be less happy it's gone. But everything comes to an end at some point. And that is where it ends this afternoon. But as you were mentioning, yeah, we have a championship fight. If not, it's not very close in terms of the fight, but it is still possible for it to happen. All Jan Halliday needs to do today is score a single point. If he scores 1 point today, he'll be crowned our F2 champion for season 39 and the last for F1 24. But the one person that can challenge him is, of course, if I can see him on my list, is Kian Gordendorp, who's currently in the Cash RB. He needs to take pole position, fastest lap, and the Grand Prix win, while his championship rival doesn't score any points. So that is what he needs to do. So, to be honest with you, his entire championship fight could end in qualifying if he does not get pole position.
I think we're having a real lobby, so just bear with us a second.
I think we are.
It's a bit of a delay, normally a bit longer than what you're used to, just while we were waiting to see what was going to happen. But something's gone wrong with the sense of lobby, so we're just going to keep you talking for a little bit longer. What I will do is pull up the previous race results from Mexico, so you can have a quick little look there at what happened last time. Obviously, I wasn't here for that, but you can see that qualifying, Jan Halliday, championship contender, who only needs to score a single point here today, right there at the top on qualifying. But the official race results, it was Sergio Sobrino who took that victory and took those 16 points in the end. So Halliday still scored some points in 6, but lost out a little bit than what he could have been. His championship wrapped up last week. But it does go the distance. It does come to the final round. Like you say, Alex, the championship not being that close. There is still the potential for Kian to win, but it's an absolute Hail Mary. It's praying and hoping. Wishful thinking at best. All he needs is 1 point, does Halliday, for that championship. So you got to pray that Halliday has a stinker here in Abu Dhabi and doesn't score a single point.
Yeah, and for a track that's never really known for having, overwhelmingly exciting Grand Prix and never really a surprise result, it can be really easy to overtake here, especially down the back straight. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this goes down. But yeah, I think it's very much, it's definitely Jan's championship to lose, with the fact that, that qualifying lap he did in Mexico was a champions qualifying lap, a champions elect qualifying lap. And of course he finished in P5, which was more than enough than he needed, with Kian only scoring a single point that afternoon. Just saw TK's in chat as well. Yeah, TK is here in spirit. And of course, as mentioned as well, Alex Gillen is back once again. He's decided, after such a successful start last week in PCF2, he's going to give it another go. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that one goes. So it'll be interesting to see. There is a bit of confusion about lobbies here. I'm just trying to work out who is hosting what. I don't know if you've worked it out yet, Corey, but I haven't figured it out yet.
I've not. I've just sort of given him a little bit of push in the chat, like, lads, come on, what's going on? What's going to happen here for this lobby? We are already 10 minutes overdue, and we want to get some racing action underway. But we're waiting. We're chilling. We're relaxing, maxing, acting all cool, shooting some basketball outside of school. Just the things that you do while we wait here patiently for this hosting issue to get sorted. But I'll remove those Mexico results from your screen so you can look at our lovely mushies once again while we wait to see what is happening here.
Yeah, I am just working it out. I'm trying to read the very complicated, just random chat nonsense that's going on.
Yeah, trying to navigate our way through driver chat and figure out what is actually going to happen.
Right. Okay. I'm in a lobby now, and it's got all of our drivers in it. So, if you want to jump on this,
I am joining with you. Yes, I'm going to join through you.
Lillian is now hosting. So we've gone from Jan to host, from Leo, and now we've got Lillian hosting. So it's only taken 11 minutes to get this all started, everyone. So
Absolutely, but we are sort of getting there. We're slowly getting there, getting underway. We have 16 drivers in this lobby, so hopefully this is the one. Lillian saying he doesn't want to host. Oh my word, this is.
but it's all good.
Well,
It's just, I'm sure all the settings will be fine and nothing will go wrong.
let's just hope and pray. What happens here tonight. We're trying to get all the drivers in here, trying to get everybody to get themselves going. People are getting a little bit impatient. Drivers are getting a little bit impatient, but what can we do while we wait for everyone to get in here? There is a countdown timer now. Whether this is legit, I'm not sure whether all the drivers are agreed. We have 16 in the lobby. Are we graced with full attendance tonight? That is something that I shall check on. So 14 and 2, so 16 drivers. That is it. The countdown timer is for real. I think this is it. We are all going for it. The final round is finally getting underway here in Abu Dhabi. And it's been the scenes of season finales for the past few years. I've got to say that.
Yeah, it certainly has. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this one goes down. Obviously, we may not always get the most exciting race around here. They did recently, well, I say recently, it's been a few years now, but they did obviously make the changes to Abu Dhabi to make it more viable for racing. I think it certainly has done what it's wanted to. We've definitely seen more exciting races around Abu Dhabi, but it's a circuit that again has been built for needs that you buy for you build the circuit for the buyer at that point. So that's what the buyer wanted, and that is what we have been dealt. But I'm sure Abu Dhabi in F2 can make it very exciting. Alex Gilliver poll I saw in chat. Well, if that happens, I'll eat my hat. But maybe he's been practicing. Maybe he's really good now.
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope that things are going to go his way, because last week was not a good display for the debut. Jump start and then coming in at the back of the field. It was quite a margin as well, quite a gap, I believe so. But hopefully for Alex, he can pull it out of the bag. Pole position, could it be here in Abu Dhabi? Let's not keep you waiting any longer, because the drivers are now on the track and they will grace us with 18 minutes of qualifying.
Yeah, they certainly will. And a track that is not the easiest to qualify on, as we have a migrating host now. Lillian has left the session.
No.
So you want to keep an eye on the Discord chat for me? And I know I'll do it because you have to pause the game otherwise.
Yes, if you could, please. Yeah, I literally just went into a pause state for half a second while I removed the Discord and opened up my Streamlabs so I could see exactly what the stream is doing. So, yeah, I no longer have Discord viable on my screen at the moment. We have YouTube.
Lillian's PC died.
Oh,
so it's okay. We just have a new host in here now. So it's fine.
It's honestly Russian roulette at this point. It's as soon as somebody leaves that was the host, anybody could be selected. It's just potluck. Dip your hand in the hat, pull out a name. So we won't know until the lobby restart. Not even the person who is the host will know until the lobby restart.
It'll be interesting to see if one of us have been given lobby host, because that would not be good, especially for you, considering you're the one running the stream.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very interesting indeed. But Tope has begun his first lap of the session, so you will be. You've obviously heard my thoughts about Abu Dhabi. Corey, what's your thoughts on Abu Dhabi?
I don't mind it. I quite enjoy it. It's since the changes that have come in Sector 2, they've removed one of these chicane entries a couple of years ago. It's really opened up a different opportunity for overtaking, so I don't mind it. I don't mind what they've done and the way that we've been running the circuit since the new regulations came into play. And I quite enjoy it, especially coming down here now towards the fast left-hander, as we see Tope do. Got that rear wing open, he's flat to the floor, and then it's just cautious on the brakes at around just over the 50-metre board, as you can see him there. Cautious, send it in, big lift, back on the power. You can get some absolute exit speed, which will set you up for Sector 3 overtakes in the final couple turns. It's such a good track for me in terms of racing. I don't know about yourself, Alex.
Yeah, I always found it very tricky in the older versions of the track when it was on its previous layout. But I think since they've opened up the track and made it a little bit better for Grand Prix racing, Tope interestingly goes into the pits there, deciding not to finish that lap time. Someone who does finish at that time is Sergio Esprino, who goes to the top of the timesheet, followed by Kean Gordondorp, the only man that can deny Jan Halliday his championship this afternoon. As Angelo Descencio goes top of the timesheets, and now here comes one of our championship contenders, and it's Jan Halliday goes into second place above Kean Gordondorp. So that is already bad news for Kean, considering his championship fight could possibly even end in qualifying before we even begin the Grand Prix.
And there goes Alex Gillen across the line, slowest of the lot so far, 21.9. So he's not actually that far off. If you look at Daniel there, just ahead of him in 11th, he's only a couple tenths away. So whoever predicted him for pole, any chatter for Alex Gillen to take that pole position, he's got to find around about a second to challenge Angelo D'Ortensio just up ahead in that Alpine, right up there on the top of the field. But you can see the spread. It's within a second. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Angelo just shave a couple more tenths off that lap time.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see that as well. I would like to just point out quickly that Lillian is not in the pits. They appear to be having a little bit of an interesting moment just on the exit of a corner. I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure they'll get back in and go back to the pits, but that is a very strange thing to see indeed. It wouldn't be F1. It wouldn't be the last time we saw F124 unless we saw something like this.
So, this is the hosting issue that has been known to happen throughout this game cycle. If the host leaves, the lobby can, in a way, get bugged in that sense where you see a Kick Sauber completely stopped in the hairpin of turn 5 and he's going nowhere else. He's just sort of stopped there.
Yeah, he's moving backwards and forwards, but yeah, that's interesting enough. But hey, you know what? As I said, it wouldn't be an F124 PSGL stream unless something has gone wrong. But that is what we love to see here at PSGL. And I was saying to TK, of course, last week before he had his final race here for this season, season 40 is a big milestone for PSGL. That's 40 seasons of recorded, streamed, Grand Prix racing, which I think is fantastic going into next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for the league to go as long as 40 seasons as you get there into the next game cycle, it's amazing to see how much growth and potential has come from what is undeniably the biggest Formula One racing league out there for the games, the Sim Racing League Society, for all the community, the drivers that have participated in PSGL and other leagues that aspire to be in PSGL because they know that this is the biggest, this is the best. It's running 39 seasons strong, and we get ourselves ready to say goodbye to 39 and welcome on that milestone, as you say, Alex, of season 40.
Certainly will, but as we mentioned before, we still have a championship fight to play for, but at the moment it looks very much likely that the championship may not even go into the Grand Prix and may end here in qualifying this afternoon. But there is still a chance that Kean Gordondorp could take pole position, but he would need an almighty effort to not only beat Jan Halliday, but beat three other cars in front of him, Angelo Descencio, Sergio Esprino and Larry Tukey, all sitting in front of him right now. And don't count out the people behind him or people that haven't even set laps at the moment. It is all still to play for here at Abu Dhabi, with 11 minutes on the clock in qualifying. The next driver to cross the line will be Tope. I think he will be finishing his first flying lap in the Williams car here, going through the final corner and just sliding it through there. Looks very nice on the throttle. Across the line goes 8th fastest, 1:21.3. Who's next? I think you've got Diego Zora there, just going towards the finish line as well.
Yeah, Zozo coming around now. The final turn 16, done and dusted. Tries to maximise everything he's got to cross the line to go 6th fastest on his first timed lap. He did have that invalidation on his first run. I did catch a little glimpse of that early on in the opening stages of qualifying. But here now, with just over 10 minutes to go, 10 and a half minutes to go qualifying, Zozo gets himself up there into P6. And it wouldn't surprise me, Zozo, a driver to contend with the front field. It wouldn't surprise me to see him shave off a couple more tenths and get a little bit further up, maybe second row for that Aston Martin driver.
It would be very impressive for him indeed. And the man currently sitting at the top of the timesheet, of course, Angelo Descencio, was unstoppable last year in F2. Of course, winning that F2 title. It has not gone the same way for him this year. He's had some serious bad luck and maybe some not performances that he would not consider his best. But there is, of course, always next year, and I think there is going to be bigger and better things for Angelo D'Asensio in the very near future. I think that kid has very much potential to be Formula One worthy in the next few seasons. Mark my words, it'll come back to that.
Ooh, big talk there for Angelo. He's certainly setting some pace here today on that banker lap time, being the fastest of the lot, and surely can shave off a little bit more than that. Here goes Gabor up to P6, jumping ahead of Diego Zorzo. We just watched Zorzo's lap, but he is jumped by Gabor Santos. It's a 21.278, so it's not too far off the margin for Zorzo. You can certainly find those hundreds to get back up there. I think Larry Tulke or somebody else has crossed the line to jump up higher up. Ricardo Benzoni up there. Kian Gordondorp though, straight to the top. There's the 20 time we've been waiting for. Shaves off that 2/10 away from Angelo D'Asensio, and that championship fight is well and truly alive. Kian needs pole position. He needs that point. Then he needs the victory with the fastest lap to avoid the chance of rollback and to get those points to jump ahead of Jean Halliday. But Halliday cannot score points for that to happen. This is an absolute Hail Mary. He needs a miracle from the heavens above for this to happen, but he's certainly starting to make it happen by taking the fastest time so far.
Yeah, pole is just one step of many he needs for the Grand Prix. He needs very much all his skill he has to offer and a little bit of sprinkle of luck going into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But he can only start his championship challenge with a pole position here this afternoon, and right now he's got that in his locker. But there is still a lap in Jan Halliday, I'm sure of it, as he's coming through the final sector now, but I believe he is pitting for a new set of tyres. Now, of course, we do have the mandatory lobby restart. We hope and pray that this will be the last season we have to do mandatory lobby restarts. Come season 40, we hope that F125 will not have this problem, which means we can go straight from qualifying to the race without needing that little bit of a break in between. I do really hope that is what happens, and I'm sure it will. I'm trusting F125. It's looking very, very good so far in what we've seen so far from the trailers, and I'm looking very much forward to getting into F125 next year. I do apologise for the little pause there.
I see you're all good there, sir. But yeah, like you say, it does keep that little break out of the way. It keeps people interested. You don't need to wait around for 5-10 minutes while the grid is reset. The drivers are re-putting their positions, and we get restarting to get the collisions put back on as well. Like, I would love to see the collisions put back on for qualifying. Like to have that slipstream potential strategy in play, but as we know with this game cycle, it is absolutely insane the advantage you can gain using that slipstream and that dirt, using that tow, using that air, and just slicing through the field. And the qualifying times would be absolutely unreal if that was to happen, for example. It is just crazy in this game cycle, but hopefully we can get those collisions turned back on for qualifying, and maybe you can see those team tactics come into play.
Yeah, I think it'd be lovely to see it back in the game. As you mentioned, the slipstream in this year's game is so powerful. ERS and DRS was made more powerful, and then they made the slipstream more powerful as well. So that was a huge problem for a lot of teams, because you play the team game very much, and also you don't have to even play the team game. You just sit behind another car that maybe on an in-lap, and that's where the issues come. But we turned it off for this year. It will hopefully be back on next year, as we mentioned. And of course, we will keep you updated with that on all of our socials when F125 drops in the very near future. Mr. Alex Gillen is just about to start his next flying lap, and I believe Sergio Sobrino is coming to the end of his.
Absolutely, Sobrino coming around sector 3 now. He is up, well, he was up on his time by 1/10.5, so he is looking to try and get up there on that front row. If he can make it stick, is there any more time in the bag? In sector 3, he crosses the line, he jumps up to the second row, so he's lost a little bit of lap time there in that sector 3. He's going to be kicking himself for that one.
Yeah, he certainly is, and it only puts him at third fastest, and I think that is not where he'd want to be. Angelo D'Asensio, on the other hand, is on a lap here in the Alpine. As we mentioned, had a little bit of an up and down season. He'd love to cement his final day here in F2 with a pole position, and he was very close to it. He improved by 44 thousandths of a second, but didn't get close to Kian Gordondorp's time. Very nice lap indeed. And of course, Alex Gilland is also on his flying lap. He was 8 thousandths up in the middle sector, He's looking to try and close the gap to Daniel. He won't be out-qualified by Lillian because we know what's happened with Lillian's car. But Gillen wants to close a little bit more to Daniel.
He does indeed. He's sort of floating with his delta time there. If it is an improvement coming out of that final turn, it might not be by a lot. Oh, it was by a 10th. So he has gained a 10th, but it's not enough to catch up to Daniel there. So he is still sat there in P15, just trying to gain that lap time, gain the extra 10ths needed to get a little bit higher when he wants to be.
Yeah, it was very, very close. I mean, I'm not sure. Well, actually, no. Fair play to Gillen. That is a really good lap. To be fair, 21.7. I mean, in most leagues, that's a very close pole position time. But I think in a league such as our own, which is so competitive, this is where the issue comes.
Currently getting us on board with Gordon Dorp, who's looking at trying improving that lap time. He is on the 20.9 as he's coming through Sector 2 now. He is just a 10th, under a 10th down on the Delta as he finished that Sector 2 split. So maybe not an improvement coming this time, but he's whacked that battery and recharging. He's just slowing it down a little bit, maybe. Or is he still pushing on? I would go to the box, personally. He's not much of an improvement unless he can pull it out in Sector 3. There's an invalidation, so for Gordon Dorp, he's not going to improve that and will go back into the pits for some fresh rubber and wait out the timer for when you can burn off all that fuel and cross the line with not even a second to spare. Oh, he's retired. Never mind.
He's retired. He thinks he can't go any faster.
Well, yeah, I'll be quiet. He thinks that's it. Plateau. A 20.923 is the time to beat, and if anybody can do it, he will be impressed because he feels like it can't be done.
I mean, if that can't be, that's a bold play. It's a very bold play considering your championship is on the line here. Like, you have one goal and it needs to be to qualify on pole.
Ooh!
Your teammate got very, very close there, Kian.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that from out of nowhere. Conrad, the VCARB teammate, lines up just behind. It's a VCARB 1-2. That's not something you can say every day.
Certainly isn't. What a lap from Conrad Bohm there. Puts himself into second place alongside his teammate. Very close to out-qualifying his teammate as well. Now, of course, I think Conrad will need... well, the thing is, this is very interesting. Of course, Conrad and Kian are both part of the same team. They're both in the RB, but PSGL isn't a team championship. You may notice that Conrad has TES next to his name. That is because he is part of an actual racing league, a racing team, along with Jan Halliday, who is also part of TES. I imagine Jan's probably whispered in Conrad's ear and said, "Jan, can you hold Kian up for a bit? I know you're part of the same team, but just do it for me, old time's sake."
Yeah, even though they may be sporting the same colours, but outside and off this grid, they are rocking that same team. So maybe you could potentially see Conrad try and fight the VCARB counterpart for Jean Halliday's favour. I mean, Gordon Dorp, he's right where he needs to be to make his championship hopes come alive. Halliday only in P5 at the minute. He's going to need one stellar lap to get himself back up there. He's around about 2.5 tenths down.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got outlaps to go. Now, it's not just Kian, not just Jan that can outqualify Kian here. Everyone behind him can, because Kian Gordonsthorpe retired in the pits. He said he felt like he couldn't do a better lap time than that. We're going to find out if that is true as we go into our final qualifying session of F1 24 here for F2. And I believe every other qualifying session is coming to an end as well in the rest of the tiers. So we will be one of the last in this year. Both RBs at the top of the timing sheet. Both of them retire in the pits. It is now or never for Jan Halliday. And Riccardo Benzoni also retires. Only one driver can take pole position for the final round here in Abu Dhabi.
Well, I've kept us on board with Larry Tolkien for quite a while as he's done a double outlap. Well, did his outlap and he's now the one, well, would be the first driver to set the time timing border light, hopefully with an improvement. He is just under a tenth up on his time though, as he comes out of that sector 2 split. Now there's only the third sector to go. He attacks the triple right-handers. Now he gets that double right out of the way. Harsh on the brakes, round to the right before he needs to collect himself and go underneath the little tunnel there. This is where things can get a little bit treacherous. You get mighty close to that outside wall, so you just want to be careful you're not too quick on the throttle and get yourself spinning out and into it. And out of the final corner we go for Larry Toolkey. Is there an improvement to be? Yes, it is. It's up into P4, and this is where the timing screen starts to jump all over the place. Next comes Quintino. Quintino crosses the line, goes up to P10. We have the Ferrari next towards the line. Is that Leo Lund? It's not. It will be Reyes Imtiaz as he comes around the penultimate corner now. Onto the final turn. Turn 16 to go. It's looking racy. It's looking pacey, but it's not too much. He's just ahead of his teammate next across the line. William Derbacourt without a time, so that would have been an invalidation. There goes Zozo. There goes Halliday. Just behind Gordon Dorp. That is the lap that he needed to get right there and keep the pressure on his championship rival ahead of him. He's exactly where he needs to be. Everybody else coming towards the line. Sabrino's done. D'Angelo Hortensio, is he the only other driver who can contend? No, he can't. He is invalid on this lap, and it'll be Alex Gillen, the last to set the times as he comes around. He is a tenth and a half up, but is it enough? I don't think it will be as he crosses the line, improves but stays where he is, but at least he's not last.
At least he's not last, but right at the death, Jan Halliday almost nicked that last lap time away from King Gondor. But King Gondor takes pole position for the final round here in PSGL F2. But it does mean his championship rival starts alongside him. It is a 1-2 for Gordondorf and Jan in the final round of F2. Kian, of course, gets the extra point for pole position, which means he now needs to win fastest lap. And his championship rival, who starts in the front row, must not score points.
Absolutely, the championship hopes are slightly there for Kian, but his rival is right behind him, ready to stop him any chance he gets. I would say at this moment in time, with Halliday being in that position, I don't want to say it's over, but it could potentially well and truly be over in that championship way. But again, it's still, anything can happen. This is racing. It can get flipped on its head by one corner, and they have to go around this circuit for quite a while. Now, it is raining, but we have a lobby restart, so ignore this while I bring us back to our commentator's corner. But before we go any further, we need to just have a quick little word from our amazing sponsor, who we bid farewell to, GT Omega. The last time you will see one of their sponsors come up here on the F2 stream, but in F125, never say never of who is to come in terms of sponsorship. But here we go. A huge thank you to GT Omega, and of course, been an amazing sponsor and an amazing partner throughout our game cycle. And we are back. There we have it. GT Omega, thank you so much for everything you've done here in PSGL. A much valued partnership that has gone on for quite some time. And of course, we bid farewell this final round from the F2 tier. So it's been lovely having you with us, but now we shall take a look at the standings. We spoke about it through qualifying, but now you can see it displayed on your screen at how close things are. Now it is no longer a 17-point gap, it is a 16-point gap. But as you can see on count back, Halliday has the P2, Gordon Dorp only has a P3, so he needs that fastest lap, and he needs Halliday to be in P11.
Yeah, he certainly does, and it's going to be tricky. I mean, it is going to be very, very tricky. I don't know if it's possible for Jan to lose this one now. Unless something happens on that first lap of racing, it needs to be a first lap incident, but also it doesn't need to just be a first lap incident. There needs to be a case where, you know, Kian sets the fastest lap of the race, and it can't be beaten by someone that goes on a set of softs later in the Grand Prix and goes even faster. That's the situation we're in right now. As you said, a draw on points wouldn't matter because countback wise, Jan would still win.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it comes down to the wire. It needs to be absolutely perfect for Kian to take this. He's got the pole, he's got that point. Now he needs to win fastest lap and pray that Halliday has an absolute disastrous race and cannot score not even a single point, or it is all over and Halliday takes the season 39 championship. It's only been 9 rounds of action and it's been very, very close all the way through. A bit of a shortened season this time around to get us through, but again, it's coming down to the wire, but the conditions must be perfect for Kian to take that championship.
Yeah, they've got to be perfect. And, you know, in Formula One, unfortunately, there isn't such thing as perfection. Something always tends to go wrong, no matter what the situation is. We are just waiting for the lobby to get mandatory reset now. We are just going through the end phase of this Grand Prix, and then we'll be actually getting on to the next Grand Prix. We just have to sort the grid out and go through that stuff. Of course, we did have the wet rain in that lobby before we had to restart it. Unfortunately, I've been told we're not allowed to keep that weather, so we are going back to dynamic. But hey, you never know. Maybe dynamic will give us some more rain. That'd be exciting.
I mean, rain in Abu Dhabi, you'd love to see it. It's unknown for it to be a little bit damp, but I don't know. I can't remember ever seen a wet Abu Dhabi in the game. I don't think I have, to say the least. But never say never. There's a first for everything. And I hope to see it. You know, it would be quite interesting to see the wet finale here for what has been this little bit of a spicy fighting championship all the way through. The wins have been mixed, like we say as well. Leo Lund, he's a driver that you couldn't count out, but he was disqualified in a 2-race ban. So he took 2 wins. Do you reckon Leo Lund could have been up there for the championship despite those race bans that he's been faced with?
We've chatted to TK about this last week in the chat. I think without those 2 bans, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in those races. You can't predict that. But without those bans, I think we would be talking about Leo being in this championship fight alongside Kian and Jan. I think Leo had so much pace this year. You know, he does get into antics on the track, but that is, you know, every good world champion has got into some sort of antic on a track at some point in his career. So I think for Leo comes back stronger next year, and he'll definitely have a shot at that F2 championship for sure.
Absolutely. So it's all to play for now. This is the final round, the end of 24. We just need to wait to see how 25 is going to feel now in terms of the handling. What has changed? I didn't personally play the beta. I didn't get the access for it. I didn't register for it. But I don't know, Alex, have you got any insight into terms of how the new handling may be for the next game? Maybe a bit easier for the drivers or a bit higher?
Yeah, I played a little bit of the beta when it came out. I mean, it felt pretty good so far, but obviously you can't tell exactly from one beta thing. You had a few tracks to play around in. I did notice the brakes felt a little bit different to how they did last year, and the traction was a little bit different as well. But again, this was very small, limited amount of testing. I'm sure there's a lot of people have done better testing than me. But I am hopeful. Again, I think you have to be hopeful with the game because always, you know, you don't want to go in with a bad mindset that you know you're going to get a bad game. But I'm trustworthy that we're going to get a good game for F125, and I'm very much looking forward to commentating here once again. Hopefully in season 40.
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready for season 40. You know, like you say, it's that milestone. It's that benchmark. 40 seasons of PSGL racing action, all streamed online for your viewing pleasure. And here we are now to finish off season 39 with an absolute banger in Abu Dhabi. I'm excited to see what is to come. The championship, it's a Hail Mary, but it would be the absolute, like, picture perfect scenario for the makings of a rookie book. Like, when you're against all odds, you still take the championship for Kian. It could be a perfect story, or it could just be the inevitable that is yet to come.
Yeah, it really could be. I mean, if you remember back into 2021, the 2 championship contenders started on the front row in Abu Dhabi. Of course, they were in slightly different circumstances to where we are now. There wasn't a 17-point gap. There was a 0-point gap. They were on the same set of points. But It will be interesting to see if we have a similar scenario going into this Grand Prix. Hopefully not the same ending, because we do not want that sort of controversy to deal with here in PSGL. But I am very much excited for the Grand Prix we are about to have for, from Ricardo. Ricardo. I'm so confused. Kian Gundorp. There is only one thing he can do, and is drive his best Grand Prix he has ever driven. And for Jan Halliday, all he needs to do, stay out of trouble.
Well, there's something else that I would just like to quickly mention while we're still away here. P3 in the driver's standings is well up for grabs from one of 4 drivers. If we take a quick little nosy once again back at the standings, something I failed to mention early on. If you look at Sergio Sobrino, Angelo, Diego and Tope, they are literally separated by 4 points. So, 4 drivers looking to take that P3 in the driver's standings, and maybe even if Kian has a stinker race, Sergio Sobrino could maybe wiggle his way up to P2, but we don't want to see that happen. We want it to be a mighty fine fight all the way through to see Kian maybe take the championship or Halliday raise that crown and take it here in season 39. But again, P3, who do you think? Do you think Sergio Sobrino's got it to hold it, or anybody else like we saw Angelo today having some mighty fine race pace?
I think Angelo, I think himself, he'd like to finish P3. Obviously, I think he would have loved to defend his championship back-to-back, but it's a very rare thing you tend to see that. But I think he'll finish P3 ahead of Sergio Sobrino. I think it'll be interesting around Abu Dhabi. You've got 29 laps of this Grand Prix. It's quite a long Grand Prix for a 50% Grand Prix. So I'm very much looking to seeing where this goes. Tyres are going to be interesting. What strategies are we going to go for? We're probably going to see the one stop, the hard to medium tends to what we see here around Abu Dhabi. But will they start on the harder set of tyre? Will they start on the softer set of tyre? And are we going to get any safety cars as well? That is all going to play into factor here in the last round of F1 24.
Absolutely. Now, bring us back out of those standing graphics as we now can confirm that the countdown timer has begun. The drivers are getting themselves trackside. Everybody's getting themselves nice and ready to rock and roll for 29 laps to close off season 39 with a bang. There's 16 drivers lining up on the grid. We'd hope for a full one, but 16 is well and truly enough drivers to bring you some hard-fought action all the way through these 29 laps. But it's, again, like you say, for the strategies, hard and medium compounded tyres mostly used here. Very rarely see the softs unless, of course, the late that shall not be named. I don't want to give it the commentator's curse early on. But, we'll see what happens later on as the first stint ends and we get into the second stint and how the drivers are feeling, whether they go long, whether they try the undercut strategies. It's all up in the air at the moment in time. But the drivers are on the track. I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. I'm going to take us trackside.
As you can see, the paying crowd, very excited to see Abu Dhabi. It looks like a very overcast day here in Abu Dhabi, but it is time for the lights, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 9. It is the final round of season 39, and we are underway for the final race. And it's a good start from our pole sitter as Jan Halliday slots himself into second place, defending from Conrad Bohm. But our 2 leaders get away nice and easy. Kian Gundorp leads Jan Halliday, who leads Conrad Bohm, who leads Angelo Asensio. Sergio Sobrino just in behind with Diego Zora chasing in the background. But our championship leader and our championship contender battling for first and second respectively, as we got battles all in the midfield, with Alex Gillen making it off the start this time without a drive-through.
Yeah, good start there from everybody on the grid. You see the fights happening there. Tope trying to make it side by side. Reyes Imtiaz looking to try and get on through. Will he benefit from that inside line? We've just had a brake marker board smashed to oblivion as we watch everybody go 2 by 2 by 2. It's Noah's Ark through that chicane section, fighting for the positions. Tope and Reyes Imtiaz still going at it. We see Larry Tulkey now trying to get defend his positions. Diego Zozo, he's got 1. He's going for 2 on Sergio Sobrino. He's side by side on the exit there out of turn 9, coming down towards turn 10. He has the upper hand. He will get that inside line. A bit of contact with that McLaren in front, and he's straight back under attack from that Haas driver. Inside line now for Sergio Sobrino. He will benefit there, trying to squeeze wide that Aston Martin of Zozo, and does defend his P6 away after Zozo could have taken 2 positions in one corner there. That was a monumental scrap on this opening lap.
It certainly was. It looked like Sorzo had it for so long, but there's a McLaren in front of him that said, I was not going to let you pass when I had the opportunity. And also, Jan was in a 3-wide moment down that back straight and wisely backed off. He knows he needs to score. He doesn't need to score massively this afternoon. And right now, he's doing exactly what he needs. Interesting to point out here is that Kian Gorndorp is on the harder set of tyres. And everyone else, it seems, in the top 5, apart from Sergio Springer, who's in P6, is on the mediums. So that's how's that going to play into the hands later on as Conrad Bohm takes first place ahead of Kian Gorndorp there. Kian not fighting that one with DRS. It is not worth the wait and not worth the tyre wear, as we got huge battles in behind. Leo Lund battling with Larry Tukey there, P9 and P8 respectively, as Larry and Leo go wheel to wheel. Are we going to see them make that move into that sharp left-hander? They certainly do, as Leo Lund makes it into 8th place.
Dives it into turn 9. Leo Lund takes that position away. Had a little bit of a moment early on coming out of the first sector, but he did manage to save himself well and charge up and retake that P8 position. The teammates up ahead, Conrad and Kian Gorndorp. At the exchange of positions, it was expected Conrad will benefit on those medium tyres, but how long are they going to last? Kian just staying there in the DRS where he needs to be. He needs to make sure that Jean has some form of incidents or disastrous race and falls down the points order. Will we see team orders come into play if Conrad manages to stay ahead after pit stop strategies? This is something that must be taken into consideration. Kian Gorndorp needs to fight against his V-carb counterpart, or will it be swapped at the final lap, depending how close these drivers get?
It's going to be so interesting because Kian Gorndorp is very much just going to stick within his teammates' DRS. And the thing for Jan Halliday, sitting in 4th place right now, he is enjoying his time in 4th because he knows all he has to do is cross the finish line in a points-paying position and he's world champion. And right now, I believe Sergio Sabrina has fastest lap, so that's not even going to be helpful for Kian Gorndorp. The one thing I will mention for Kian is because, of course, he went onto the hard tyre, it will mean he's going onto the mediums later, which I think is the smart plan because, of course, they are the softer set of tyre compound. If he still needs that fastest lap at the end of the race and somehow has a way of winning, then he's going to want the softer set of tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to want to be on that better compound to give him his best chance at taking that fastest lap. But it depends on when he chooses to box. If somebody goes for that overcut, goes a little bit longer, they'll have that fresher medium compounder tyre, and then the chances of them taking that fastest lap away is heightened exponentially. He needs to plan this perfectly. Get the fastest lap, get the race victory, hope that Halliday is P11 or doesn't even finish the Grand Prix. But everybody is just in a DRS train as we get going on Tour 4 of 29. Things are just sort of settled in. Everybody's running their own little pace. They're staying within the DRS. No lunges now happening like you saw on the opening 2 laps. They're just sort of settling into a rhythm, trying to mitigate that tyre wear, make sure they can run the tyres for as long as possible, and then it's all about that second stint. But here we go. We may see a bit of a defensive move here. Kian Gorndorp forced to move a little bit to the centre of the track there, looking for a defensive line. Riccardo Benzoni goes for a late braking sender, trying to get through on Angelo Di Hortensio, just couldn't quite get there. Maybe open the door. Oh no, it wasn't. It was on Halliday, sorry. Riccardo Benzoni with that late lunge takes P4 away. Halliday drops another position, but I don't think he's too worried. Halliday just needs to stay within points.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, Benzoni, that was a late old dive, and Jan definitely just got out of his way. He knows right now that even in P5, he's winning the World Championship. It does not matter where he finishes as long as there has one next to the point scoring tally. I will want to say, this weather is some of the strangest I've ever seen at Abu Dhabi. Those clouds look very, very odd indeed. They
do look a little bit strange, I've got to say that. I mean, it's very grey, it's very dull, very unknown here in the UAE and Abu Dhabi. It's not something you're used to seeing. We normally have a night race. It's dark and you can, you know, you're under the lights. But this is rather peculiar, if I say the least, Alex.
Yeah, it really is. I don't think there's any rain scheduled. I'm sure the drivers would have been shouting about it if there was. But unless any engineers are in chat that can tell us if the weather's going to get a little bit sunnier. But it's being very British right now. Is the weather here at Abu Dhabi? But Angelo Desensio pulls to the right hand side, getting in the slipstream of Conrad Bowman. He's going to go around the outside of Kian Gordendorp. Kian cannot afford to lose too many places here. He's of course on the harder set of tyres, so he knows that he's got a little bit of time before those become the better tyres. But he does not want to fall down too far because he does not want to lose touch with the cars in front. But there goes Riccardo Benzoni, and he doesn't care about the championship fight. He is running his own little race, and he's sitting in third place now.
Wow, where has this come from Benzoni? He's just come out of nowhere. Late braking manoeuvre on Halliday. Late on the brakes once again. Big boy send on Kian Gordendorp. This is what I mean. You can't predict this. We went into this Grand Prix expecting it to be a fight between Halliday and Gordendorp, and it's not. Conrad's ahead. Angelo is ahead, and Riccardo Benzoni is ahead. This is where things are looking a little bit different, but maybe the tyre strategies are coming into play. You see the medium runners making the moves now. Lap 6, we get going. But on the first 5 laps, the medium runners have just clawed the way through those hard runners ahead.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how this tyre strategy is going to play out, because P9 down to P15, all on the hard tyre. The only one not in the bottom half is Alex Gillen, who's on the mediums, who I must say is doing a tremendous job keeping up with the pack here. Of course, DRS is giving him a big hand, but the fact he's even on the back of the DRS is very impressive indeed. As Angelo Desensio takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Riccardo Benzoni going for a great aggressive dive on Conrad Bohm. He has to defend so aggressively, does Conrad, but Conrad almost takes out his teammate as well, who's run him out of road, but he's made the move stick, and Kian Gordendorp is past Conrad Bohm there into P3. That was very brave indeed from Gordendorp, considering that could have been a race ender.
Oh, very, very bold, brave manoeuvres there, but that's that championship mentality as we see side by side Sergio Sobrino, Jan Halliday. Sobrino trying to get through, but couldn't quite get there yet. Halliday forced to attack a little bit more now, looks for a move on Conrad, can't get there, but the door was open for Sergio, and he says, thank you very much, I'll take that with ease. Does dive ahead, and Halliday drops another position, but it is only the first stint. We still have 23 laps of action to go, and we just saw there Daniel and Gabo Santos side by side of the final corner. Contact between the Williams and the Kick Sauber. Who's going to come out on top of this one? They're still side by side. The Williams sends it through and does take that P11 away, but that could have also been race ending for those two.
Race-ending moves all over the shop at the moment. But yeah, for Jan Halliday, that's another place lost there with Sergio Sobrino going past him. But as you mentioned, not going to bother him too much at the moment. He is on the medium tyre, and he will be going off the hards, which means he's going to be running a bit shorter in this race. But that hard tyre stint will give him a nice big gap, and it's down for the other drivers to catch him. And it's not the easiest thing to catch in this year's F1 game because of how powerful DRS and slipstream is. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes down. As Leo London, Diego Zora going right at it here for position, and Diego Zora all over the place coming out of that corner. And now Sergio Sobrino going to go around the outside of Conrad Bohm. Jan Halliday got a nice gap behind him and has got a nice gap in front of him. It's just worrying about it enough. Also, Larry Tukey has a little spin there. He's gone ghost mode as the two Williams go wheel to wheel.
Oh, teammates fighting it out. We've seen that before with the V-Cabs ahead. Now go the Williams side by side as we go deep into Sector 3. Who's going to have the upper hand? Top here gets that inside line, pulls ahead of his Williams counterpart and does get that move done. Nice and easy. A bit of a rough and tough elbows out scrapping there between drivers. Lovely stuff. It's exactly what we want to see. I think we just see Quintino there going for a move. Makes it side by side with Derbicourt. Can he pull it off though as we get going now down towards turn 1? He's on the outside. The kick Sauber will benefit with the better line. Is there a potential switchback on the cards? Not quite yet for Quintino.
Yeah, not quite yet, but it could still be coming as the cloud has gone from bright to even more gloomy here in Abu Dhabi. I don't know if it's going nighttime or if there's a little bit of rain on the horizon. I still haven't heard anything from anyone to suggest there is any rain. I think it's just a very gloomy day in Abu Dhabi as Angelo says here takes the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Riccardo Benzoni. Kian Gordendorp still sitting pretty in third place on those hard tyres. He is very much in this hunt for this Grand Prix win, and that is exactly what he needs to be crowned world champion. But of course, right now, it will not happen with Jan Halliday sitting in 6th place.
Absolutely. He needs Halliday to be outside of those points. But what I can tell you, Alex, is we've had a bit of confirmation in the YouTube chat from one of our viewers telling us that it's no rain confirmed, overcast all the rest. So it's just going to be very, very cloudy.
Very, very cloudy indeed. It is odd. It's very odd weather indeed for Abu Dhabi. I've not seen the like before, but it does happen sometimes. We get some strange weather, and what a way to go out here in F124 with some of the cloudiest weather I've ever seen at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, absolutely. Things are just running a little bit relaxed now. We saw some moves happen on those first 2 laps. Moves happen on lap 5, and now everybody just settling into a bit of a rhythm once again. Sergio Sobrino, though, is looking for a run as we get down out of the first sector, coming down into sector 2. Is he going to get close enough to make a move? He makes it side by side into the hairpin of turn 5. Can he pull it off? He's certainly still going to try for it. Conrad forced into a defensive posture. Can he pull it off and defend against what is a charging Haas through the field? As Angelo goes to retake the lead of the race. Sergio goes on through on Conrad, sets his sights now on Kian Gordon-Dorp ahead, but here comes Halliday looking for an outside line move. An inside line, they'll switch to outside line, and he just can't quite get there. A bit of a squeeze from Conrad as the two fight it out. Halliday looking to try and retake some positions. He's now under attack from Zorzo. It's going to be 3 wide, going down into the long left-hander. It's not quite. One driver backed out of it, being smart. It's Halliday who's lost out another position. He's fighting with his teammates, scrapping it out with Zorzo. Can he try and make it around the inside? No, he can't. He's still fighting side by side, teammates scrapping it. It's the 3rd time it's happened in this race. And Halliday down to P7. He's just dropping positions, but is he still comfortable? Is he struggling for pace?
He might be. I don't know what's happening with Jan. As we see Leo Lund dive into the pits there. Very early pit stop from those medium tyres. Going to go assume onto the hards. But yeah, for Jan Halliday, it seems that every time he thinks he is safe from a driver behind, he seems to lose another position. I'm not sure exactly what his headspace is, right, or if he's struggling with tyres or maybe the temperature, because of course, with it being so cloudy, it's going to be a very cold track. And I wonder if the tyres are really struggling to get that heat through them. And Jan, right now, even though he's in 7th, and it's still enough for the World Championship, because Kian's not even leading at the moment, it is nervy times for the Aston Martin team.
It absolutely is. He's just not on his form like he's been all season long. You'd expect him to be right there at the front pack, fighting it away. Maybe he is playing it just a little bit too safe. He knows that he needs points. And with only 16 drivers on the grid, it makes it a little bit easier. There's 4 less drivers you need to get through if he was at the back of the pack. So he just needs to try and stay smart, but maybe he's playing it a bit too cautious, and it's costing him lap time.
Yeah, he's playing it very cautious now. I mean, Leo Lund as well. You've got to think, Leo Lund was just behind Jan Halliday. Pitted, he's going for the undercut there. Jan, I think, needs to respond, personally. I think that sounds crazy considering Leo was just behind him and not close to him at the start of the race. But Jan cannot afford to lose positions due to the undercut. And he does. He does dive into the pit, and I think that's what he needs to do.
Yeah, I got to agree. He needs to get that pit stop phase out of the way. It seems the mediums are just not lasting there. Everybody else has dived in. It's only Conrad who stays out and tries to extend 1 lap longer on those medium compound tyre. 10 laps is all you've got out of them here. So it's now for these hard runners to try and push and extend the little bit of a gap and make sure they don't lose out too much time here now. Because undercut, overcut, what is it going to be? We see Conrad is going to try and extend it on those mediums, so maybe he is in the better position here.
And Jan Halliday has come out in 15th place behind Leo Lund and 1.7 seconds off that pact.
Ooh.
I mean, this has very much opened the championship, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the pit stop phase has just happened. Our other championship rival is now leading the Grand Prix, which, if this stands, it is a tie on points, because I believe Kian does not have fastest lap.
So, on countback, unofficially, as it stands, Halliday is still the champion. If Kian Gordon-Dorp, when he slaps on those medium boots, can pull out that fastest lap, and the result stays as it is now, and Halliday is out of those points, he will take the championship. This is going to go down to the wire. And we saw this coming in qualifying. It could either go it's the makings of a story. You can't make that up. Like I say, it's the makings of a story. You can't write it. You can't make it up. It just happens. 1 in a million chance, and it may fall on your lap. But it's a Hail Mary. It's a send from the heavens. It's one of those that you'd never actually imagine happen. It just, you'd see it once.
Yeah, I mean, and look at to be fair, look at where Conrad came out. He's next to Jan. They've come out wheel to wheel together. Conrad Bohm almost got Jan Halliday. Where has Jan's pace gone? He's 2 seconds off the pack now.
Oh, he's really struggling here. If Kian's feeling confident on those hards and he can just stay running with the pace that he's running at, and the gap opens up a little bit more for Halliday, it's just going to fall away. That gap's going to open up, and when Kian does decide to box, he'll be well and truly ahead. But will he be in the lead?
Well, that is going to be the interesting question. The gap to the leader right now between Jan Halliday, as Gabriel Quintino picks up a 3-second time penalty, Jan Halliday and Kian Gordendorp. Well, it's about 21 seconds. That is the gap they have each other. The fastest lap, by the way, just want to point out, is held by Leo Lund at the moment, 1:24.4. So that is the fastest lap of the race so far. But I'm sure Kian, with a new set of boots, could very much beat that lap time. He'll know in the back of his mind that is what he needs to do. I'm sure he'll hear from his engineer that Jan is struggling at the moment. But for his sake, he will not want to think about that. He'll just want to think that right now I'm doing everything I can, but if I'm world champion at the end, that's good. If I'm not, then I know I've done everything I possibly can to win this, as he takes the lead back from Sergio Sobrino.
You'd love to see it happen. You would love to see this fall onto Kian Gordendorp's lap, as Halliday still loses a couple tenths of time to Leo Lund ahead. He's really struggling though. Where is his pace gone? Oh, excuse me.
Struggling on those hard tyres. I am not sure exactly what is going on, but yeah, he's really struggling to deal with these hard tyres at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how the medium tyres compare to these hards when Kian gets them on in a few laps time. I reckon he's going to pit around 15, 16. I'm sure the engineers in chat could correct me on that, but that's where I'd expect him to come into the pit stop phase.
Well, he will be running that lighter car. He's burnt off almost half of his race fuel. So when he puts on those mediums, the tyre wear is not going to be nearly as harsh because they're not going to be as much load on the tyres running that lighter car. So they can run that little bit longer. We have only seen the first stint of medium tyre runners box early, like lap 10, lap 11, getting off those mediums. So 14 laps on a lower, like with lesser fuel, certainly definitely doable. But they do drop off very quickly.
Yeah, I expect them to drop off 15, 16, 17. And considering how far they dropped off for Jan Halliday, I expect that we might get a similar story here this afternoon. For Jan, he's about 3 seconds off this pack and not really making up the time that he would want, as there's a big battle in the mid-pack for P8, 9, and 10 here, as Lillian has to back out there because very close to going straight into the wall as Race battles with Gabor there in 7th place, just for the minor points playing positions. I've got to say as well, it's going to be interesting to say that I wouldn't normally say this about a driver maybe running in P10 with time penalties, but could that 3 second play a big part in the championship?
Oh, that could make all the difference between Halliday scoring a single point or none at all, depending on where he's going to place his car later on when these pit stop strategies unfold with those front 10 drivers. Now, I expect to see Ricciardo and Angelo maybe getting into the lead of the race with the pit stop strategies coming into play, just depending on how big that gap is. You see Ricciardo Benzoni chipping away at what was a 10-second gap. He's now an 8.9-second gap to Quintino. So Benzoni certainly setting some good pace. Conrad takes a new fastest lap of the race on the freshest of the harder compound tyres of the pit stop phases. He did go that 1 lap extra on the mediums, and he's 1 lap lesser on his tyre wear.
Yeah, 1:23 there. Fastest lap of the race so far. Kian will not want to hear that. He's got a new fastest lap he's got to beat here. But maybe he's not thinking about that right now. Let's get on to the medium tyres and see where it goes from there as Angelo and Ricciardo battle for position there. Kian Gordendorp takes first place once again. We are on lap 15. Are we going to see any drivers come in a bit early for an undercut for these hard tyres, or are they going to stick it out for a little bit longer considering the medium tyre drop-off? I do expect these drivers to pit within the next few laps as Jan loses another place. But I think Conrad and Jan are DRS swapping off each other, but it's still not making up the pace that they would want.
No, not so much. They're not losing out too much time either. They're not fighting too hard. They're just letting each other pass under those DRS conditions. It's the best way to do it to reduce time loss, as you, the leading car, will not benefit with that extra speed. The car behind certainly will. So if you keep exchanging it, you lessen that time deficit that these fresh tyre runners are going to eventually catch you up on. But is it going to be enough to potentially stay there well within the fight for victory? I mean, especially as soon as he slaps on those medium tyres. Overtakes are certainly going to happen for Kian and the likes of Sergio Sabrino, potentially even Diego Zorzo, depending on where he finds himself out. But once again, they are just swapping it around. Zorzo there within the pack. It's Tope who's 3 seconds back and fighting it out with Larry Tulke behind. And as we can see, Gabor Santos getting through on Daniel as well.
Good balls. Daniel's gone straight on there at the chicane. Interestingly enough, he's had a technical problem. He's pulled to the side. I think he's surely got a wheel problem there. He's found his way back into control of his car, but he's lost a lot of time there and fallen down to P10.
Oh, something definitely not gone right there for Daniel. He's lost a couple positions and he's right. Oh, he's having screen freezes. Huge screen freezes. He's just got into a ghosted state. We just caught that. He's having a connection issue or some form of screen freeze, and it has just completely ruined his race.
It certainly has ruined his race. I just had an interested point in chat. Of course, if Jan is somehow out of the points at the end of this Grand Prix and Kian does have fastest lap and is winning, surely Jan would just pit for softs and go for fastest lap.
Well, that is something that I thought about, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to give him the idea. I wanted him to figure it out on his own. If he was outside of the points, yes, absolutely correct. He could just box for softs and take that fastest lap. I didn't want to say it. I wanted him to use his racing etiquette to try and figure that one out, but there we go.
We had a few drivers pit for medium tyres, 4 of them exactly pitted. Jan has now found his way back into the points. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing if he can climb up through the grid now. Riccardo Benzoni moving up a place as well. He's on very fresh, hard tyres. As Kian and Sergio once again swapping places. I imagine we're going to see Kian, Sergio, Zora, Lillian and Gabor into the pit lane on this lap. I can't see them wasting any more time out on these hard tyres.
No, they don't want to lose too much time now. You see, Larry Tulke, Reyes, Tope, Gabriel, they're all boxing now, slapping on those medium boots. Now would be the time to box and cover off any potential undercut strategies that may fall into place. But Alex Gillen is being passed by our recent pit stoppies, and he's being passed again by Tope. Oh, he's had a moment. He's off the track.
Gillen!
Gillen is off the track. Yellow flags, gets himself going again. Bit of a moment there in Sector 3. Maybe getting a bit too throttle happy, giving himself a tank slapper. He's booty going left and right, and he was off the track for a second. He's off the track again.
No, we've given him camera time for one moment, and he's bottled it. Completely bottled it there. But Kian and Sergio and Diego also stayed out as Daniel retires in the pits. Connection issues for Daniel, one less place that Jan needs to make up if, of course, there is time penalties. And also, just want to point out, there's 3 drivers now with 3-second time penalties in the bottom half.
So, this is... that's going to work, in a way, for Gillen's favour, though. He's going to make some positions up there on Tope and Quintino with those time penalties, providing they do not get removed. So he's going to get a little bit higher. He doesn't want to finish last. We want him to finish anywhere but last here tonight for Gillen. That's what I want to say.
I believe that Gillen could finish not last here this afternoon in Abu Dhabi. Well, these drivers on these hard tyres will surely be beginning to pit this lap. They want fresh mediums for as long as possible. And here they are. They're going into the pits here. This is the moment for Kian Gordendorp. He will now know in his heart of hearts that the championship is very much out of his favour, as Gabor also picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that one will get removed because he's driven into the pit stop and given himself a 3-second time penalty. That's just a known feature of the F124 game. But now the charge begins for Kian Gordendorp as Tope sets the fastest lap of the race on medium tyres. Jan Halliday is in front of him. If Kian's had a good pit stop phase. He should come out just ahead of Lari Tuki, and he will certainly do that. Kian has, well, 10 laps to go to get past Jan, and hope these medium runners as well can also pass Jan Halliday. It is all to play for right now here on the final few laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Absolutely. Halliday making moves on Comrade. It's all for Cian Gordon to break down what is now a 5.4 second gap and try and charge up the order. With 10 laps to go, we have a huge battle going into the chicane. Everybody fighting out for the DRS though. We see Larry Tulke giving it the big one with Diego Zorzo. It's Tope and Reyes Imtiaz that are side by side on the exit with a bit of a terrible angle on that one. But here comes Gabriel Quintino trying to get his foot in the door, and it's 3 wide. As we go around into turn 9, they're still 3 wide on the exit, not giving each other an inch. It's 3-car fight, still going through all the way around into turn 12. Who's going to have the upper hand? It looks like Reyes Imtiaz, and there's contact between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, put into a ghosted state. Tope is trying to make the capitalistic move and get through on that one. Can he get through 1? No. Can he get through 2? No, he's still going to try it though. Tope still in that, trying to take advantage of that ghosted state of Quintino. Can he pull it off? Quintino defending like his life depends on it. Needs to get out of that ghosted state before Tope just sends one through him.
And he has got out of it. Or has he? No, because he's lost another little bit of time there. But Tope decides to back out of it. But yeah, that ghosted state lasted probably longer than Gabriel Quintino would have liked. Tope does finally get that move done. Cian Gordon, by the way, that gap was, what, 5 seconds? It is now 4.5. It is closing quickly. The Sergio Sabrina and Cian Gordon DRSing off each other to try and catch the pack here. I mean, it's not only bad for Jan if Cian obviously catches up, but with Cian basically dragging the rest of the pack along with him on brand new medium tyres, Jan cannot afford to lose too many places here.
He can't, and as that time starts to get to the 4-second mark, we should expect it to see the 3.9s, 3.8, there it is. The tenths are literally being taken away corner after corner for Gordon Dorp as he tries to chase down Jan Halliday. Now, this is where things are going to get spicy. We have 9 laps of racing to go. Is it possible for this to happen? All these medium runners to push Halliday down the order. You have from P6 down to P12, 6 drivers within DRS potential. So this is where things are going to get spicy. And there is the fastest lap for Gordon Dorp. Just what he needs to help secure that championship. But don't forget, if Halliday falls out of the points, what's to stop him to box and take that fastest lap?
I mean, that is the question that's on everyone's lips right now. Even if Cian and the rest of his pack catch up to Jan, what is going to stop Jan from going onto those softs and taking away fastest lap? Because yes, if Cian does somehow win this Grand Prix, they will be equal on points, but it goes to countback first, we believe, which of course the countback would be with Jan winning the championship. So Jan has a chance to still win the championship, even if he doesn't score any points here this afternoon.
Absolutely. The moves between Angelo and Ricciardo up in the front two, just exchanging DRS as you expect. Leo Lund well within the fight for a victory here, but all eyes are set to the back of the field. To the midfield, should I say. It's 2.5 seconds now, separating Sabrino and Halliday as well. Cian Gordon just sat behind Sabrino, waiting for his chance, just using that DRS to chip away 10th after 10th, using the slipstream, staying right behind that Haas driver to catch down his Aston Martin rival ahead. They can see him. He's there in striking distance.
They're on the same straight. It is all coming down to the closing stages of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It has actually been a very thrilling Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, something you can't always say about this track. But this afternoon, they are proving us wrong and giving us quite the Grand Prix. Of course, Cian doesn't need to just pass Jan. He needs to go on to win the race and hope that somehow Jan drops about 5 or 6 places when he comes up to him, as Ricciardo and Angelo keep exchanging places there. And once again, down the back straight here, Jan is going to do the same thing on Conrad Bohm, but that gap will close. The medium tyres will be getting worse, but they are so much quicker than those 11-lap-old hard tyres that Jan is stuck on.
Oh, they certainly are. Things are starting to get very, very close. It's going to get racy. It's going to get dicey. Conrad dives on through using that DRS. This battling. He's going to slow down Halliday just a little bit. You see the 10 still slipping away through the corners. Gordon Dorp just has that grip advantage. You can see the difference in tyre life. 3-lap-old mediums versus 11-lap-old hard compound tyres. This is where things are going to get spicy. Quintino Rezincias fighting for those final points positions side by side as they come out from underneath the tunnel. And it is Rezincias to take that position, that final points paying position.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's spicy at the back. It's spicy in the midfield because Kian Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, was in DRS of his championship rival, Jan Halliday. Of course, it is not enough to win the title just by passing this Aston Martin, but it's enough to give him more hope that he can still win this Grand Prix, and maybe, just maybe, Jan drops out of the points. It's looking unlikely at the moment, but in Formula One, you never know what can happen. And today, here in Abu Dhabi, it may happen. Sergio just giving the sign to Kian. No DRS swapping now. Go get him. And Kian is certainly going to go do that.
Absolutely. Kian getting a little bit of a run here. He's got the exit. He's got the traction. That rear wing is open. But Halliday also has that DRS advantage. It's all about pace. It's all about the extra grip that he has. Can he send it now into turn 9? Not quite. He's going to go the long way around. Can he stick it out on the outside? The 3 wide on the exit. And he was stuck in a V-carb sandwich, was Halliday. But look at the battle ensuing before your eyes. Oh, there's contact. Halliday's gone sliding. And he drops down to P7. This is beautiful. Zozo's fighting it out. He's down into P8. This is exactly what Kian Gordon Dorp needs. The championship is looking like it's going his way. Halliday's down to P8. He only needs to lose 3 more positions, and that is it. Halliday's championships are well out of there. Kian Gordon Dorp now needs to drop 3 seconds and catch up to those front runners and overtake them.
That was a beautiful move from King Gordon. 3 wide in that corner and goes the long way round. There is drivers behind him that are on faster tyres, but they have time penalties as well. This may still go Jan's way, but I think Kian Gordon has driven his heart out this afternoon. He sits in 4th right now. He's still got to catch the leaders. It's possible, but it's very, very unlikely. But what a drive Kian has put on this afternoon with only a few laps to go.
Absolutely. It's 3.4 seconds to those front runners, and he is well and truly potentially under attack from Sobrino. Sobrino's now going to go on through, and will we see the same exchanging of DRS that we saw for so many laps earlier on as the fight started to close up? Zozo's run a little bit wide there. Halliday's closed up a little bit more, but with those used hard compounder tyres, he's just going to slip away a little bit. Kian Gordon Dorp has only ran 5 laps on those mediums with Sobrino. This is where it's going to mean the most, and Halliday may start to struggle as that grip starts to slip away.
And chat wondering, is it safer for Jan just to take fastest lap and not score any points? That's a risky play.
Oh, it is indeed. It very is. He could sit it out and hope that Kian Gordon Dorp can't get the victory. It is 3 seconds, including this one. You have, 4 and 2/3 of a lap to go, and that's all it is. It's all Kian Gordon Dorp has got to charge back through the field, to drop 3 seconds and overtake those runners ahead. The thing is, he can see them. He can see them right in front of him. We can see them on our screen. He can see them on his screen, but can he catch them?
That's going to be the interesting thing here. I don't know if the laps are going to fall for Kian Gordon Dorp, but he has driven his heart out, and I think he will remember this race for a long time. Maybe he won't come out of it as world champion of F2 for season 39, but he'll remember it as the season where he pushed them right to the end in the last round in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been reading the chat, the YouTube chat, and there's some good points being made. So if Halliday was to box for fastest lap, if Kian Gordon Dorp was managing to take the race victory, and he does hold the fastest lap at the moment as it stands, if Halliday gets an invalidation, it goes to Kian Gordon Dorp. So is it worth the risk? Or does he just finish where he is now in P8 and it guarantees it?
Well, I think if King takes the lead of the Grand Prix, I would, if I was Jan, probably risk the soft tyre and go for fastest lap. I think it's very risky indeed, but I think chat are right on this one, where if Kian somehow wins this Grand Prix, which is still looking unlikely as it stands, then I think going for just that fastest lap is safer, especially if we have any sort of problems with tyres or maybe even connection, just getting that lap on the board. But a lot of chat think Kian won't catch here, and I think maybe those medium tyres have started to hit their cliff here.
Yeah, he's just not gaining like he wants to, not like he was in the first 4 laps that we saw. Tremendous pace as he burnt them out just a little bit too quickly, because that 3-second gap is well and truly still floating around the 3-second mark. It's now dropped to 2.6, but it's taken 3 laps to do that.
Yeah, it takes 3 laps to do that, and of course, every time they go down a DRS straight, it is very tricky to even catch the front 3 because they're all slipstreaming off each other, and that's just making it even harder for Kian Goldendorp here. But you can't underestimate how much he has wanted this Grand Prix win here this afternoon. He has given his heart to make this happen, and he has got agonizingly close, I must say. I mean, the fact he's got fastest lap, he's put pole position, and he's got a chance of the race win, I think is more than enough for me to already give him driver of the day.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's been a stellar drive from Kian there, doing everything that he can. When all the odds were stacked against him, he had the conditions, but those front runners, like you say, with that slipstream, the gap just isn't closing. The strategy was sound. He got pole, he got that point. He's got the fastest lap off strategy. Tick 2 on that checklist, but now he cannot get to that front field.
I think it's just because of how strong that front field is. Evangelo, Ricciardo, and Leo, all the 3 people you probably wouldn't want to be leading this Grand Prix because they are so fast, even on dying tyres. But it is just within that 2.6 to 2.7 mark. And every time, every corner, it gets agonizingly slightly closer, but not close enough. And I think Kian is going to run out of laps before he catches the leaders.
Absolutely. Still exchanging DRS with Sergio Sobrino there, but it is still floating. It's literally up and down, just flirting around with 2.5 and 2.7 seconds to those front 3 runners. So the podium seems to be set. But who is going to be the victor? That is the question. We can take a quick little look now. We've got more away from the fight for Kian Goldendorp. And as we get going now, on to lap 28, the penultimate lap, it is the front 3 who are now going to decide who will be the victor. Will it be Angelo? Will it be Ricciardo? Or will it be Leo Lund?
It could be any of them. I think this is our top 3. As you mentioned, we have a retirement in the pits. And that will be the end of Gabor's season here in F2 with a lap to go as Alex Gillen also starts his penultimate lap here. But yeah, the front 3 have looked very solid this afternoon. We haven't really been paying attention to them. They've just been DRS swapping off each other with Kian slowly catching. But with a lap to go, it's going to be interesting to see who takes this Grand Prix win. Obviously, if these 3 somehow come to blows here, this could make it even more interesting.
Oh, we have a scrap there, so it seems like Sobrino's finally given up on this DRS exchanging and went a little bit aggressive there with Kian Goldendorp, and he's opened the door for Zorzo to come on through now. Goldendorp's championship hopes are well and truly gone, but they're going to go 3 wide down towards turn 9. They've got that championship thought out of the window. Now they're getting the elbows out, and look at that. We saw it once before. We've seen it again. 3 wide out of turn 9. Zorzo dives up into P4. Sobrino has to sit behind, and Kian Goldendorp drops down into P6 there.
Yeah, the gap really was not coming down. They decided, let's just go for the Hail Mary here. And that is exactly what they did. And I think for Kian, he knows that the jig is up. The title is over. And Jan will be world champion. Unless something crazy happens on the final few corners of F1 24. It has been a fantastic game cycle. We have crowned champions. And we're going to crown a new one here this afternoon. And it likely will be the name of Jan Halliday. But who will be the winner for the final Grand Prix of season 39? Will it be Angelo? Will it be Ricciardo? Or will it be Leo Lund? It will be one of the 3. They've got a 3-second gap to the cars behind as Riccardo Benzoni goes for the lead of the Grand Prix, but so does Leo Lund. There's 3 wide into the corner. Riccardo Benzoni broke so late into the corner. Angelo taking such a wide line. They're 3 wide again. None of them want DRS. They're all running off the road. It's all gone crazy with a lap to go. And Angelo finds himself with DRS. So does Leo Lund. Riccardo Benzoni hung out to dry with no DRS at all. And Leo Lund takes the Grand Prix lead. But will Angelo fight it around the outside? But now Angelo's gone too deep, which means Riccardo takes second. Angelo's run off the road. Riccardo Benzoni get back in front of him. Leo Lund will win this Grand Prix as it stands because Riccardo Benzoni's gone off again. But for the Ferrari of Leo Lund, with a few corners to go, will it be his day for Ferrari here in Abu Dhabi? It's been a race to remember as Angelo dives it with 1 corner to go. But it may have been 1 corner too much as Leo Lund wins the Grand Prix. But for our championship fight, Keane gave it his all. But in the end, Jan Halliday is F2 champion for season 39.
And a well-deserved champion, to say the least. Jan Halliday crosses that line to finish P8, scoring the little points that he needs to secure that F2 championship. It has been his season to win or his season to lose, and he does raise that crown and take it, place it upon his head as the F2 champion here for season 39. And to end F1 24 with a bang, Leo Lund took the victory. So what a final lap there, battling it out with those front 3. They managed to take it when we was all eyes on Gordon Dorp and Halliday for the championship. But a much-deserved victory for Leo Lund. He could have been a contender, like we had a little quick chat about it in qualifying. Could have been there for championship, but a victory nonetheless.
Yeah, it was incredible with a lap to go. I mean, I just want to point out just something interesting Kian put in the chat. Said if we hadn't fought, we would have caught them because they had started battling so much. And I think you're probably right.
Yeah, him and Sabrino were having a little bit of a scrap, and maybe they would have caught the front, and Kian Gordon Dorp's championship hopes may have well and truly still been alive. But it feels like there was a little bit of scrapping, a little bit of fighting there. But as the victory goes, it is Leo Lund, Angelo Di Ortenzio. I always get a bit tongue-twisted with that name. And Riccardo Benzoni doing your podium sitters. I'll bring us over to the... For some reason, it keeps doing that. My Streamlabs changes the interview button, my Stream Deck, to the starting screen. So we do apologise for that. It does happen every now and again. I don't know why it does it. But we are in the interview room, and we shall see if anybody would like to come for a quick little chat.
Yeah, I'm flagging Jan, Kian, and Leo for interviews if they want to jump in, because obviously we had the winner of the race, the runner-up of the championship, and the champ. So we'll see if we can get those 3 in. If it's possible, but I am not sure at the moment. I will let everyone know in a second when we do. But yeah, what a season it has been here for F1 24 and of course season 39 in general. I am honestly, I think we both agree, even though he didn't get that win in the end, I think Keane Gordon takes my drive of the day, very personally.
Yeah, he did pull out a stellar drive to try and make it happen. I mean, he got that pole position, he got the fastest lap, but in the end, with that scrapping with his with that Haas driver of Sergio Sabrino, it's just like he says, he feels like he's been costed. We do have our F2 champion here with us in the interview room, so we'll get going with him as we wait to see if anybody else will join us. Jan Halliday, congratulations, you are the F2 champion now. Something I do want to ask that I noticed in the Grand Prix, you wasn't really getting the elbows out too much. Was you just playing it a little bit safe, a bit conservative to secure that championship title?
Yeah, I kind of knew I just have to score like 1 point to be the champion, so I took it extra safe. I completely misjudged the setup for this round. I think that was the worst race of my season, actually. So, not the way I wanted to end the season, but yeah, championship is a championship, and I'm happy.
Absolutely, It was a very good victory. A very good championship from yourself. You've been right there within the fight. That will make it 3 victories this season, 1 P2, and then just consistent points to get you the championship. So it's congratulations in order, and well done on proving that you have what it takes to be at the top.
Yeah, after like, I don't know, 8 seasons in F2 it has been. I think I've been in F2 since F1 22. So it's been a long time coming. But yeah, finally, I can say that I'm the champ. So yeah, thank you guys.
Nice, it's beautiful, mate, beautiful. And on to you, Alex. Any questions from you for our F2 champion that's been waiting 8 seasons to finally raise that crown?
Well, 8 seasons, I mean, the best time to do it right before the end of the F1 24 cycle, going into season 40 as well. The question I think I have for you, Jan, of course, it may be not the race you had in mind. You said you got the setup a little bit wrong. And I think we could see that as a thing. And obviously, you know, we saw Kian moving through the pack. Kian knew he had to win the Grand Prix, have fastest lap, and make sure you didn't score points. Out of curiosity, if you were outside the points with a lap to go, would you have gone to softs just to take that fastest lap?
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, Kian did an awesome race. I think the pole position, what a lap. I mean, then the fastest lap. I was a bit shaking, you know, when I saw that. But yeah, I knew that if I hold him up just a little bit in the last sector on the old hards, then he can't catch the top 3, which happened. So yeah, thankfully I didn't use the softs in the end. But I think if there was a situation I'm outside of points or like damage or something, I would probably do it.
Yeah, I think that would have been the smart decision. But yeah, Jan, congratulations, mate. Well done on your season, and I'm sure we'll see you again in season 40 for F1 25.
Yeah, hopefully in F1 though. No,
Well,
just kidding.
well,
We'll
maybe.
see.
You never know. You never know, Jan. You never know. You are
Yeah.
F2 champion, after all.
Okay. Thank you guys. See you.
Right, see
No,
you in a
that's
bit, man.
it,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Never say never, eh? F1 is always the dream for every driver in the F2 tier. They always want to get to the top spot. We've seen it happen. You know, Joris Krozen comes to mind. He was a tier 2 driver at one point, an F2 driver, and is now in esports. Was there at the championship this year, if you wasn't too familiar on that one. That's something that I always bring up. You know, it can happen. These drivers have a dream and they excel to try and achieve their dream.
And I have also brought in the man that has won the Grand Prix, of course, Leo Lund, who could have been standing here as world champion without those 2 race bans and DSQs. But that is in the past now. We'll talk about the present. And congratulations, mate, on winning the final round of the season and ending F1 24 and season 39 on a much-needed high.
Yeah, I feel pretty happy with 3 wins, but yeah, of course, the mistake in Austria was a bit unlucky, so I think I missed the chance on the title.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen to the best of them, mate. It's what it is. But I think you've proven to yourself and obviously proved to everyone else that you already have the talent. And I think next season in F2 or maybe even in F1, you never know, that you have the championship ability to fight. Is that going to be your goal? Are you going to be around here for season 40 in F1 25? Sorry.
If I'm gonna be here,
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm good next game, I think.
Well, we
Depends.
would love to see. We'd love to see you back in the grid as well because you are one hell of a driver, sir. Corey, have you got any good questions for Leo before we let him go?
Well, it's not unknown for Leo to be a race victor in my eyes. I've seen him take quite a few race victories over my time as a commentator. So to see him take another victory is not surprising to say the least. But it is good to see you up here. And like we said, we had a little chat earlier. Could have been a contender for the championship. You've had 2 race victories. Make that 3 now as you close off the season to be tied on race victories with the champion himself, Jean Halliday. So tied on race victories, you both have 3 wins, and well, it's not a bad way to end this F1 24 game despite those 2 race victories. So no questions really, just congratulations on another victory to add to that. What I can imagine, you've got a spreadsheet of how many victories you've achieved over your career.
Can you repeat?
Oh, just saying congratulations, mate. More than anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, more than anything. I've seen you race quite a few times over my commentary career, so it's not unknown that you're a race winner. But no, great race and a good victory from yourself, and to end the game cycle with a bang.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
As you should be, Leo. But yeah, congratulate. We'll let you go now, but well done on your victory, and I'm sure we'll see you for season 4.
Yeah, bye guys.
Au
Thank
revoir.
you,
And that is
Leo.
all. That is all, Alex.
That's it.
It's been fantastic. Wow. Back in the F2 for the final round. I've been running the F3 this season, and that has been a championship fight in itself. But I've got to say, F2 never disappoints. There's always a lot of action. I mean, the 3 wide moments into turn 9 alone. Crazy business. Crazy stuff. Not afraid to get those elbows out and get fighting for those positions of these drivers. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here for the final round and to finish off F124 with a bang. And on to season 40, a milestone achieved for the next game on F125. Excited for that, Alex, because I know I am.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. But we will now say our goodbyes for this season. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been PSGL. You've been watching 9 rounds of us here on F2 with not only myself, but with Corey here for this round. And of course, the lovely TK, who I'm sure has been watching and been fantastic for this season. We don't know what the future holds for F1 commentary and, of course, for the F1 game in season 40. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, as the saying goes, everything ends and it is always sad, but it'll always begin again. Corey, thank you very much for joining me, and we will see you next time on PSGL. Goodbye.